first morning without electricity arrived with an eerie silence that blanketed the world. Gone were the hums of refrigerators, the gentle buzz of air conditioners, and the cacophony of digital alarms. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds, oblivious to the monumental shift in human life. For most, waking up felt like an unsettling dream, but the reality quickly set in as people realized their phones were lifeless, the lights unresponsive, and their coffee makers stubbornly dormant. In the immediate aftermath, confusion and frustration dominated. People poured out of their homes, seeking answers from neighbors, only to find them equally bewildered. Radios, reliant on batteries, became the sole connection to information. News anchors, broadcasting with a mix of panic and professionalism, confirmed what no one wanted to believe. Electricity was gone, and there was no timeline for its return. Scientists were baffled, politicians were speechless, and theories ranging from solar storms to sabotage proliferated without concrete evidence. The first week tested humanity's resilience. Supermarkets turned into battlegrounds as people rushed to stockpile canned goods and bottled water. Without refrigeration, perishable food spoiled quickly, and a foul stench began to emanate from dumpsters and abandoned stores. Cities, once glittering with neon lights and bustling activity, plunged into darkness every night. The stars, now unobscured by artificial light, painted the sky with a brilliance many had never witnessed. But the beauty of the night was overshadowed by the growing sense of vulnerability and fear. Hospitals faced catastrophic challenges. Life support machines ceased to function, and doctors scrambled to save as many lives as possible. Surgeries were performed by candlelight, and the lack of diagnostic equipment forced medical professionals to rely on instincts and rudimentary tools. The elderly and chronically ill suffered the most, as their dependence on medical devices became a cruel limitation. The healthcare system, strained under normal circumstances, began to collapse. Transportation networks ground to a halt. Airplanes remained grounded, trains froze in place, and gas stations, reliant on electric pumps, could no longer dispense fuel. Bicycles and horse-drawn carts made a surprising comeback, while walking became the primary mode of transportation. Cities emptied as those who could fled to the countryside, hoping for a simpler life closer to nature. Suburbs and rural areas became hubs of activity as communities formed to share resources and skills. Within months, the world began to reshape itself. Governments, unable to enforce order on a global scale, saw their power wane. Local leadership and grassroots organizations filled the vacuum, often with mixed results. Some communities thrived by pooling resources and embracing collective farming, while others descended into chaos, plagued by looters and opportunistic gangs. Barter systems replaced currency, with skills and tangible goods becoming the new measure of wealth. A carpenter could trade a table for a sack of potatoes, while a blacksmith's ability to repair tools became invaluable. Agriculture returned to its pre-industrial roots. Without electric-powered machinery, farmers relied on manual labor, animal-driven plows, and ancient techniques to cultivate the land. Harvests were smaller, but the sense of accomplishment in feeding a community brought people closer together. However, the absence of refrigeration made food preservation a constant challenge. Smoking, salting, and fermenting became essential skills, and root cellars were resurrected as a means of storage. Education underwent a dramatic transformation. Schools, devoid of technology, reverted to chalkboards and handwritten notes. Books became treasured possessions, and storytelling emerged as a powerful tool for passing knowledge to the next generation. Children learned skills that were once considered obsolete: sewing, candle making, and basic carpentry. The absence of screens and digital distractions fostered stronger family bonds, as evenings were spent around fires, sharing stories and playing music. As the years passed, humanity adapted, but the scars of the transition remained. Cities, unable to sustain themselves without modern infrastructure, transformed into ghost towns. Skyscrapers stood as hollow monuments to a bygone era, their windows shattered and interiors reclaimed by nature. Wildlife flourished in the absence of human activity, with deer grazing in city parks and birds nesting in abandoned buildings. The air, no longer polluted by factories and vehicles, became cleaner, and rivers ran clearer than they had in centuries. Despite the challenges, creativity and innovation thrived. People rediscovered the power of human ingenuity, crafting windmills and water wheels to harness natural energy for basic tasks. Communities experimented with solar ovens, gravity-fed irrigation systems, and other sustainable technologies. Artisans and craftsmen gained newfound respect as their skills became essential for survival. Clothing, once mass-produced, was now hand-sewn, and furniture was built to last for generations. The absence of electricity also brought unexpected psychological shifts. The constant barrage of information and entertainment that once dominated daily life was replaced by introspection and a deeper connection to nature. Anxiety and depression, fueled by the pressures of modern living, gave way to a different kind of stress, the struggle to survive. Yet, this struggle also brought a sense of purpose and fulfillment that many had never experienced before. Communication, perhaps the most significant casualty of the blackout, became a laborious endeavor. Letters carried by hand or horseback replaced emails and texts. Communities developed localized networks of messengers, ensuring that vital information could still be shared. The loss of global connectivity meant that news from distant places took weeks or months to arrive, if it came at all. The world felt both larger and smaller, as people focused on their immediate surroundings while remaining curious about the fate of others. Over time, new traditions emerged. Festivals celebrating the harvest, the solstices, and other natural events gained prominence. Music, dance, and storytelling became the primary forms of entertainment, bringing communities together in joy and solidarity. People found meaning in the simple acts of planting seeds, mending clothes, and tending to livestock. The pace of life slowed, allowing for moments of reflection and gratitude. 15 years after the disappearance of electricity, the world was unrecognizable. A generation had grown up without ever knowing the glow of a screen or the hum of a motor. They viewed the relics of the past with a mix of awe and curiosity, marveling at photographs of bustling cities and tales of instant communication. Museums dedicated to the age of electricity became popular, filled with artifacts like smartphones, laptops, and light bulbs. Scientists, working with limited resources, continued to investigate the cause of the blackout. Theories abounded, but definitive answers remained elusive. Some believed it was a natural phenomenon, a once-in-a-millennium event that reset the balance of the planet. Others suspected human interference or even extraterrestrial involvement. Regardless of the cause, humanity had learned to live without the invisible force that once powered its world. By the 15th year, whispers of electricity's return began to circulate. A group of engineers and physicists working in secrecy claimed to have discovered a way to restore power. The announcement was met with a mix of hope and apprehension. For some, the possibility of reclaiming the conveniences of the past was thrilling. For others, it was a threat to the simpler, more connected life they had built. When the first city block flickered back to life, the reaction was profound. People gathered to witness the event, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights. Tears streamed down cheeks as memories of a lost era flooded back. Yet, the moment was bittersweet. The return of electricity promised a resurgence of technology and industry, but it also threatened to unravel the communities and values that had emerged in its absence. Debates erupted over how to integrate electricity into the new world. Some advocated for a cautious approach, using it sparingly to enhance agriculture, healthcare, and education. Others pushed for a full-scale revival, eager to reclaim the comforts of modern living. The decision was not easy, as the scars of the blackout were still fresh, and the lessons learned were too valuable to ignore. In the end, humanity found a balance. Electricity returned, but its use was guided by the principles of sustainability and mindfulness. Communities retained their emphasis on local resources and human connection, using technology as a tool rather than a crutch. The blackout, though devastating, had forced humanity to confront its dependence on a single resource and rediscover its resilience. The world, reshaped by 15 years of darkness, stood at the dawn of a new era. The stars, once the only source of light, now shared the night with the gentle glow of electric lamps. Humanity, humbled and transformed, embraced the future with cautious optimism, determined to honor the lessons of the past while building a brighter tomorrow.